Good evening everyone, hope you're well. I'll apologise in advance if the quality of this video isn't up to par tonight. I've taken a slight downturn in this chest infection I've been nursing for the last 4 weeks, and I'm about to be on another set of antibiotics. So if I have to cough or I get a bit breathless, apologies for that. Tonight, to carry on my Easter theme, I did truffles, as you may remember at the beginning of the week. I then did a crumble using rhubarb out of my neighbour's garden, which is obviously starting to grow at this time of the year, leading up to Easter week. I thought it was a slight Easter theme. Tonight I'm going to go back to the original Easter theme of chocolate, and I'm going to make my version of chocolate Easter nests, which are basically chocolate Crispies decorated with little mini eggs to make them more of an Easter theme. So what I've got in the pot already is 8 ounces of, I've used milk chocolate buttons, but you could have plain if you prefer, 2 ounces of butter and 2 tablespoons of syrup. Now I just use my own tablespoon measure, but you can actually buy, or you may already have in the house, the actual tablespoon measures. But that one I've used is fine. So I'm just melting down the chocolate, which I've got in a pot of boiling hot water. You have to make sure that the water doesn't come over the pot and therefore overflow. So ideally you don't really want the base of your pot to touch the water, or certainly not touch it too much. So that's nice and melted now, so I'm just going to take that off the stove, leave my kettle boiling for later on. I'm going to bring that over here, and into the pot I have already measured, it's 2 3/4 ounces. I'm still old school, I'm afraid, when I'm at home, of cornflakes. The equivalent, you can obviously look it up. So I'm going to add that into the chocolate and give it a right good mix. Now this is important, excuse me, to make sure that every little bit of the cornflakes are covered. Now you could perhaps use Rice Krispies for this recipe. And I've actually seen a recipe somewhere that uses shredded wheat. Not my idea, but you could give it a go. I'd be interested to know if it works and tastes just as nice. Would be my preference. Okay, so that's all covered. So all I'm going to do now is just scrape off the excess of the wooden spoon, and I'm going to use two of the stainless steel spoons, a dessert spoon and also the teaspoon. Now I've put some cases into a muffin, dog's going outside, sorry about that, into a muffin holder, excuse me, just to keep them sitting nicely and upright. So, and now all I'm going to do is spoon them in to the cases. I'll just do a few for you and then I can finish them off later on. So just a few in like that, and then before they set you can put a couple or more if you like little mini eggs in the centre. And once you've finished them all and the mixture has cooled down sufficiently, you then want to put the whole tray into the fridge and let it set slowly, and they will be absolutely delicious. I don't have an awful lot of other food to show you this evening. Because I haven't been feeling particularly wonderful, I decided to take out some haggis, sliced haggis that I had in the freezer, and a few more of the chipolata sausages. I think if you remember I used some of those to add to the stew from last week. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a little bit of mashed potato, which I have mentioned to you before. I did make up a little gravy earlier on, which I sliced up an onion, I sweated it off in a little butter. I then made up a beef stock with beef stock cube and boiling water. Once I had sweated off all the onions, added a little flour to again make the old-fashioned roux and to give it some thickness, and then added the little stock, and I now have a nice textured onion gravy. Hopefully you can see that. So that's going to be tonight's meal. So a very, very simple meal this evening, due to the fact that I'm just not feeling quite on par. But hopefully tomorrow night I'll bring you something else. So I hope you enjoy making these. Very, very easy to do. I'm going to go on and finish them, and when I finish them all, I'll take a photograph of the finished tray and I'll post it to the group. Take care everybody, and please stay safe. Bye.